Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It is our pleasure to have you with us tonight. Normally, at this time of the year, especially here in Peace Village, all right, now we can see each other. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, usually at this time of the year, 31st of December, New Year's Eve, we normally will have a huge gathering here at Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center. Owing to the current situation, we are not able to have the many people that we'll have here. So we wanted to be with all of you, and that's why we have put this program together. And so a very, very hearty welcome to each one of you. We are very happy that you have chosen to be with us tonight to say goodbye to 2020 and to welcome 2021. For those of you who don't know much about Peace Village and the spiritual organization, this organization has started at a very humble beginning in 1936 and has grown to a global organization with over 110 centers, in over 110 centers, 8,000 sorry, 8,000 centers, 110 countries, and over 1 million students. And so in the USA, we have over 35 centers, and there are 2 retreat centers where people go to have retreat, to stay in residential retreats. And Peace Village is one of those, and the second one is in California. So in Peace Village, we have been here in upstate New York for the past 21 years, and we have been hosting retreats since then. And as I said in the beginning, we are happy to have you all with us tonight to celebrate this time, which is turning a new leaf. And so we have been cocooned for a long time. This year has started off in a different way. We were not expecting to be facing or living through a pandemic. We have heard about the pandemic. We have seen movies about them. But for me, I've never thought and never dreamt that I would be living through a pandemic. And so many of us were not prepared for that. And so we were living through a totally new scenario, a new situation, which would have been very challenging to many of us. And for many of us, those challenges would have changed into spiritual strength and learning and growing. So tonight we want to spend the next 1.5 hours together in some reflection, meditation, and some inspiration for the new year. So within this time, you'll have a beautiful collection of talks, reflection, meditation, songs, and maybe even a dance. So let's see. So at this point, I would like to ask our host to play a small video, which will take us into our next session. That was beautiful. And I'm sure there are many, many messages that each one of us can take. And so at this point, I would like to introduce you to Sister Kala. Sister Kala is the director of Peace Village, and she has been with the spiritual organization for almost 40 years. And when she came to the organization, she came as a practicing pediatrician. And later on, because of the demands of the organization and the need of the people, she has actually retired from that as a professional pediatrician, and she is serving the spiritual organization as the director of Peace Village. So today, Sister Kala would like to take us through some reflection. Sister Kala, warm welcome to you. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Anne. And thank you to all our viewers, those who have chosen to be with us. It's really our pleasure to host this program. As you know, New Year's Eve or night or midnight is such a significant time in the whole calendar of the year. And even otherwise, even if it's not this year, but even otherwise, I've always felt this moment that we all build towards. And then after that, that date, 2020, is never going to be done again. It's going to be 21. So there's no going back after that. So it's the one time in the whole year where it's very, very significantly changed over. And it's very symbolic, isn't it? This year, of course, particularly, there's been a lot. And so we thought it will be good to take a few moments to use our inner resources to kind of take a little visit what's been happening over the last few months with me, not so much with the world outside because we know that very well, but with me, each one for themselves, what's been happening with me. And as I said, this time kind of signals few things. And it really throws light on time, the nature of time, the time that's always moving, whether we realize it or not realize it. Every moment into the next one and into the next one. And the moment that's now, in the next moment, is no more a now. It was then. And so when I look back at all the thens of this year, again, not so much the scenes outside, but the scenes inside. And perhaps if you draw a little graph for yourself, you might see spikes of ups and downs, right? The way you felt at different times. And perhaps many of them motivated or triggered by what's happening outside. But there must also be in some moments where it had nothing to do with immediately what's happening outside. It's something from inside reminding you of something. Perhaps a ray of hope. Perhaps a strand of strength. Perhaps a thought that all will be okay. So see if you can kind of retrace your steps and find a moment where you said from your heart, wow. Wow. And yes, perhaps it was about something that happened outside, but it brought back hope. Or you felt very good. Perhaps it was something you did or you did not do that made you feel good. Not that you have to pat yourself, but it's worth noticing those moments and connecting them back to your spirit. Something in the spirit that keeps going on. And so reflect a little more on your wow moments, high points. Something made it happen. Someone made it happen. And the gratitude that I feel for that moment, for those moments. Reflect on what you're grateful for. And what you're grateful for in spite of. Not grateful for everything going very well, but grateful in spite of. Some little message, some little signal. Perhaps even a spark of lightning going in your head. Again, Feel yourself rise in gratefulness, gratitude. Perhaps you can make a list. And now, come to the now, this moment. This moment that's called the present. What are the presents that this present has brought you? What fills your heart right now? And these are presents that you don't have to wait to be given by someone, but presents that you can give yourself. What present would you like to give to yourself right now? Having gone through that long journey of 2020, what's the present that will make it easy for you to look behind and say, wow, and to look forward and say, wow. What quality, what strength, what insight. Capture it like you would capture it in a camera. That little present that you're going to walk into 2021 with. And there's so much more. Lessons we've all learned, realizations we've all had. Perhaps even things we already knew, but all of a sudden it made more sense. I'm sure each one would have a list of them. And here's mine. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Sister Carla. These were amazing, very, very beautiful. And I think it was so nicely put in the essence. And I'm sure each one of you would have selected a special one, which really is what can really be the essence of where you have been and where you are about to go. And so we want to be able to keep that throughout this next segment and until the end of the program and until the end of the year. So thank you once again, Sister Carla. So our next item, it will be a creative reflection. And this will be offered by Arti Papu. And Arti lives in Albany, New York, and she's a physician assistant and the hospital in Albany, Albany Med. And so very warm welcome to you, Arti, and thank you very much for being with us and offering beautiful reflection.
Shanti, as we bring 2020 to a closure, we take some time to reflect on the gifts that this year has given us. These could be lessons we have learned, things that we have improved on, achievements, blessings in disguise, or blessings as such. So, for this, we're going to need paper and pen, or a journal and pen, something that you could reflect your thoughts on. And wherever you are, just sit back and relax, put this aside, and let's take some time together to reflect. Keeping your eyes closed or open, whatever you feel comfortable with, and relax and reflect upon the year through its beginning, the middle, and the end. There are some blessings this year has left us with, some lessons that we have learned, some things that we want to keep with us as a parting gift of 2020. What are the three words that come into my mind when I think of these lessons, these blessings, these spiritual achievements? And when those three words come to you naturally, just put your thoughts in your journal. Just write those three words. Now that you have your three gifts written on a piece of paper, this is how we're going to take it forward with us. So when we act something out, when we express something, it becomes firm in our memory. It kind of becomes embedded in our memory. So what we are going to do is play a game of charades for ourselves, with ourselves. So just like in charades, you would say, okay, one word and then act it out. You're going to do the same for you. Um, for a little extra fun aspect, you can keep your phone camera in a selfie mode and even record yourself. And so, like, for example, I'm going to go first. For example, my three words were growth, patience, and courage. So, this is how I'm going to do. Now it's your turn. So, go ahead and express your three words in in form of actions. So that was fun, wasn't it? So, whenever throughout this year, anytime you feel on a little low point, you need some inspiration, or you are just in a very good spirit and want to reflect back about 2020, open up your phone and look back at this video about you expressing the three gifts of 2020. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Artie. That was beautiful. And of course, we'll be hearing from Artie again a little later on. So keep those gifts with you and don't forget to check the selfie. So the next item will be on love, talking about love. So we have Carmen Palmer. She is from the Bronx, New York. And Carmen has a passion for healthcare workers because she herself, she is a retired registered nurse. She has worked in the medical field for many, many years. And Carmen has expressed that love and that passion into the healthcare profession and help them to understand how spirituality play a very significant role in the profession. So she is our hope in healthcare. She has done a lot of retreats and programs around this topic of hope in healthcare, and people have benefited a whole lot from this. So welcome, Carmen, and we are looking forward to hear your sharing on love.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Good evening to everybody. And of course, it's a pleasure to be with everyone this evening to celebrate the end of 2020 and to welcome and usher in the year 2021. I trust it's really going to be new in more ways than one. I know we don't want to necessarily relive last year, even though it left us with lots of gifts. And so I'm wishing everyone at this time special blessings for the new year. And so I'm going to be sharing a little bit on love as it relates to turning a new leaf. We're going to be looking at how we're bringing love, we're welcoming love into this new year as we go forward. And so that means we are saying goodbye to some old stuff. That means we are saying goodbye to some things that did not align with love, that did not enable us to experience a life of love. And so when we do that, we're hoping that whatever we bring in and however we bring this love into our lives, it is going to enable us now to fill our lives with love and to share that love with others, with the world, and of course, to bring light and hope and healing into our world. So, if we were to talk about love, if you were to go to Google's and search for love, you will probably come up with more than 1 million references on love. Anywhere you go, you will hear about love, and many people will talk about love. But what is really this love that we're talking about? How do we experience this love? And so, there are some things that is very difficult to define with words. When we try to put words to describe it, it minimizes the real meaning of that thing. Someone once said that there are three things in life. One is information, one is knowledge, and the other is wisdom. And sometimes when we try to express the wisdom of something with words, it minimizes the meaning of it. We just can't really find the words. And so when we talk about love and the wisdom of love, it's about living, it's a practical experience of living love. Daddy Janki, who was one of the administrative heads of the Brahma Kumaris. Many of you may know of her. Many of us know her. She was one of the wisest women that I have met, and she left the body earlier this year at the age of 104. And incredibly wise. And her wisdom was not based on information that she got from the books or from school, but her wisdom was based on or was out of her lived practical life experience. And Daddy Yankee once said that ultimate result of all knowledge is to become completely loving. The ultimate experience, the ultimate result of all knowledge is to become completely loving. And that I call wisdom. And so when I live a life of love, when I practice love, my face glows with love. My eyes radiate love. Others sense love through me. They sense their own being of love. That's true love. That's true wisdom of love. And it's not only that others experience love from me, but first I experience it. So I experience those sweet, loving feelings because they are created within me. And then I radiate, it radiates from me, and others then experience it later. So I first experience that love, and then others do. So love is not a static thing. It's energy, and it's dynamic energy that influences every aspect of my being. It influences how I think, how I feel. It influences my attitude, how I act and behave. It influences my vision of others, my relationship with myself and with others. It seeks the best in everyone. And so when my heart is full of love, instantly I feel different and I act different. There's an awareness that I am that love. There's a feeling of easiness, a feeling of being relaxed and calm, a feeling of sense of freedom, a sense of safety, a deep sense of self-acceptance. My self-respect gets magnified. My attitude towards others definitely becomes kinder, more generous, respectful, and compassionate. All of that is love in action. So equally, if my heart lacks love, the mind can never rest because the true love that is essential for the being is lacking. So the mind constantly is agitated, searching, seeking for what it lacks. But generally, where we do look for what we lack, we look outside. And of course, we cannot find love outside. So there's never a sense of contentment within the being when we lack love, no matter what we have materially. Until the heart finds love, there cannot be the quality of happiness or the quality of peace in the mind. We cannot truly feel our real selves. We cannot experience the quality life that we want to experience or that we should experience Now, let's look a little bit at how family plays, how relationships play into this. How does relationships serve or quest for love? Now, traditionally, family was the structure that supports this feeling of love and belonging, that supports the nurturing of the individual, so that from a very early age, the heart feels safe, feels nurtured, feels cared for, feels protected. But when we look around now, what we see is breakdown in families. So the lack of loving connection that we see and the greatest crisis that is in the world today. It is the greatest epidemic. Actually, maybe I should say pandemic that is in the world today. It's the pandemic of broken hearts, which gets expressed in many, many ways. Mental illnesses, intense violence, fear, all kinds of mental stories that we see expressed. And it is all because of broken hearts. And so, yes, COVID-19 is an epidemic, and there are many other crises in the world today. But I believe personally that the crisis that comes out of broken hearts and the absence of love, the lack of love, is greater than any other crisis in the world. And so, where do we go from here? Because we no longer know how to connect with each other as human beings, as members of one family of humanity. This happens at all levels, within our homes, in our little families. It happens in our communities. It happens nationally. It happens globally. It happens in all ways and fashion, because we forget who we are. We've forgotten that we are innately beings of love, and that we are divine, that love is our divine innate nature. So how do we turn this new leaf for 2021? It's a new realization that has to emerge, a new awakening that has to take place. We have to be ready, and we have to have the courage to enter onto a new journey. It's a spiritual journey that takes us into a gentle learning about ourselves, the truth of who we are. I am a being of love. I am a soul. It takes us into learning about God, who God really is, the true source of love, and to enable us to reestablish that relationship with God. So I am reforming my connection with true love and with others. And I'm relearning how to share that love with the world. And so the whole of our spiritual journey is this gentle learning and self-observation, observing myself and learning to transform myself to return to my true self, to be really who I am. When I absorb this truth into the core of my being, that truth becomes expressed through my eyes, through my attitude, in my behavior, and I become incredibly loving. In that, I have turned a new leaf, the leaf of love. And so best wishes, my friend. Best wishes on your journey to turning your new leaf of love. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Carmen, to take us through this whole aspect of love, because I find and I've seen that, when this whole lockdown happened, and we were not able to do the normal things. It was so quick to catch on to something else as a support, and so instead of going inside to look for that love and to connect with God and to connect with our own hearts, it's so easy to connect with Zoomland or the cell phone or one of those gadgets. And there we go again, taking some other support. So thank you so much for really highlighting some of those aspects of love, which we all need to understand to sort out this inner world of ours. Thank you. And so to support that, let's have a song on love. And this song is going to be sung by a scientist singing a song of love. This is real research, research of the heart. And so I'd like to invite our brother, Saurabh Gupta, and he is from Indianapolis. And so he just have an amazing voice and he touches the heart when he sings. So warm welcome, and we're very happy to have you singing this beautiful song for us.
Gitanjali, Gitanjali, the song of love, song of love. Love the sunlight, love the sunlight through the shadow, through the shadows. Love is giving, love is giving, never waiting for return, or believing, is the silence in the storm. Gitanjali, Gitanjali, sweet and softly. Love is gentle, love is gentle, love is kind. Gitanjali, Gitanjali, the song of love. Love is faithful, love is faithful, love is true. All forgiving, no regrets or empty fears. Love's a journey, it's the traveler on the road. Gitanjali, Gitanjali, free and formless. Love is patient, love is patient, love is joy. Geetanjali, Geetanjali, the song of love. Love is gentle, love is gentle, love is kind.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. That was beautiful. Song of Love. And we need that to take with us to 2021. So thank you so much. And so now we will be going into a meditative session. And for that, I'd like to invite Mariam Weiss from Miami, Florida, and she'll be taking us into reflection.
Take a deep breath. Go into our meditation. Imagine yourself walking down a grassy field with the flowers next to me and the blue sky above. Not a cloud in the sky. Feeling the breeze. I am content. It's a perfect day. And I continue walking. Up ahead, I see a small house. It has flowers in the front. It looks inviting, like a safe haven where I can continue to enjoy my day. I approach it in wonder. It feels like a sanctuary. Like magic happens in this small space. And as I approach the door, I open it slowly. Making my way inside. I come into a cozy living room. And I see a wise elder sitting in the corner. He waves at me to come closer, inviting me to sit next to him. I take a seat, excited to hear what he has to say. He starts to share with me. And he says, Hello, my child. My name is Love. And I listen attentively as this wise elder talks to me about love. And he reminds me that I'm a being of love. His words feel loving, and they fill me with love. And he gives me advice about love. And I'm all ears. And he says, think back of all the things in the past year that didn't bring you love. And let them go and release them. And he tells me that the way to let them go is by learning to love them. And so I look back at the past year, 2020, imagining all the things that came my way that were difficult. It didn't feel so hard, imagining them with love. And then he puts his hand up. He says, okay, my child. It's okay. And invites me to go to the room next door. Feeling this is the next step in learning to love the things I need to let go. I slowly make my way to the next room. And open the door. And I find myself in a room filled with light. A bright, warm light coming from above. And I imagine myself walking to the room and sitting in the middle. And this light from above filling with softness and power. Fills me with the light of love. And I imagine this light that is filling me is spreading and pouring into the things of my past. Filling those with the light of love. And the more light I give, the more light I receive. and the more I feel free. And now I feel full. Like I am a new person. Ready for the coming year. I begin to walk out. And I'm back in the grassy field. Making my way. I am full and content. Knowing that anytime I have a difficult situation in front of me, I can come back to the sanctuary and fill the situation with love. In the safe haven where only good happens. In the light of God's energy. Om Shanti.
We are.
Thank you, Miriam. Of course, love is beyond words. There is no, you can't put it all into words. And so just remember, we have love in us. And so we have our brother Ram Prakash, who is going to share with us an inspirational message on happiness. And he's called Brother Happy because he's happy in everything he does. So as you will hear from him when he speaks, happiness comes through his every vein and every pores and every hair on his body. So welcome, Brother Ram Prakash.
Thank you. See, when we get lot of love, we automatically become happy. And the reason for being happy is getting the love from everybody. But also, simply getting the love is not, it makes me happy. But if I want to live the life of happiness, I have to generate happiness. I have to build happiness. And somehow, many times when we think of the new year, we reflect on what we did in the past year. And many times when we reflect upon past year, we think, oh, okay, these things good happen, and good things are only few. And then we start to think of what did not go right. And then we get into that, and then we feel sad, and we feel terrible. How come I was not able to do? But if I really want to feel happy, now this is the new thing we can do for this year. Only remember what went well. What was your success? What right thing you did? Or even something which happened which was not right, so-called right. What lessons you learned? Sometimes the loss which happens in the failure, the benefit comes out of that failure is we learn so much. Sometimes this much failure and this much benefit, and that brings joy. What I learned from it. So that means, is it possible? We're talking about the new year, mean totally new thinking. That I am not going to think of anything which was not right. I am only thinking what went wrong. So when I will think what went wrong or finding the silver lining, and even the storms went through. And you will find actually, it's a systematic thing that if there was no failure, you will not think of being successful. If you don't make mistakes, there won't be any kind of enthusiasm or any desire to do the right things. So that means every wrong thing I did, I can share with my own experience that whenever I made a mistake, I had the desire to change, or I will do so many good things to compensate for the wrong things I did. So that means if I made a mistake, I made only this much mistake, but I will do so many good things. So wow, that is a positive account. So I'm building a positive account of joy that I did this much mistake, I got this much benefit. So that means many times I say, oh, people are taking advantage of my weaknesses. People are taking advantage of my failure. What I found new this time, that why people take advantage of my failure and weaknesses? Why don't I take advantage of my weakness and failures? Every little mistake I will make, I will do 10 times good things. So then I can build happiness. Any little wrong thing you do, you will find in your life. If we had not made mistakes, we will not have desire to improve. If we had not gone into the terrible situation, we would not have met God. In other words, God comes in our life at the most trying moments. When I feel there is no way out, nothing is working out for me, I am totally helpless, all of a sudden you feel somebody is tapping on your shoulders. So I'm here. So if I had not gone through that terrible situation, I will not, I am even saying, giving God this chance to come in my life, because he can come only when I'm ready to accept, and I am ready to accept only when I'm in difficulties. So in other words, thinking of all the good things which happened to me, not a single thought what went wrong and all that. And for the future, think of something you have never done, your wildest imaginations, because no imagination exists without a reality. And it is very much our imaginations are connected. What is going to happen to us, or what is our potential, what we are ready to do, only then you imagine. Like being an engineer and architect, we imagine the building, we are able to see the building before even concept is not clear. So we imagine, so go into the wildest imaginations, what I want to achieve for the next year, and turn the impossible into possible, because the word impossible is derived from possible. So then you will see every little thing. Don't make it a big thing. Make it small impossibilities and turning into possible. And that is how we will build happiness in our new year and new life. Thank you.
Om Shanti. So very similar to the first activity that we did for the closure of 2020. Now we welcome 2021 with the spiritual game plan. So we're not going to write out like a whole New Year's resolution, but we are going to think of 3 powers, 3 spiritual inspirations that we are taking with us into 2021. So just sit back and relax, grab your pen and paper again, and just give yourself some time to reflect. So we welcome this new year with new energy, vigor, enthusiasm, hope. And we think of 3 spiritual tools, spiritual powers, qualities, virtues that we take with us into 2021 for 2021. What are those 3 virtues or powers or inspirations that you're taking with you? And write them down on a piece of paper. Again, let these words naturally emerge. So now if 2020 gets an enactment, 2021 should also get an enactment. So we are going to do the same thing, game of charades with ourselves. Open up your phones, put it on selfie mode, start the video on, and express these 3 words in the form of actions. Act those words. So again, for example, my first word is transformation. So I'm going to go So those were my 3 words: transformation, compassion, and acceptance in actions. Now it's your turn. that was fun, wasn't it? So again, look back, reflect back on this. This will be an actual tangible thing, a recording that you could look back on, maybe even just words on the paper, and think of this very funny moment that you've had in expressing these, but very empowering moment where you made these words written on the soul. Have a blessed and a happy new year. Om Shanti.
Do you and a father and a child. Would you recognize the truth? Do you feel the love that's falling from my eyes? Take just a minute, come and rest by my side. Let me tell you your own story. Let me walk you through your lives. Only a second, it's all it takes to realize there's 100,000 angels by your side. There's
So as we're coming to the end of tonight's session, we want you to keep that powerful image in your heart, in your mind, that you're not alone. There are hundreds and thousands of angels around. So just remember that beautiful scene. Those angels are by your side. And so we thank you so much for being with us for this 1 hour and a half. And I would like to share with you of some of the upcoming activities at Peace Village. As you know, we are doing everything online these days. And so you will see on the schedule that we are offering sessions from Peace Village, from Albany, from Hudson Valley, all the close by places. And so there are schedules of what's happening in those places. If you contact them, you'll be able to know that. But to let you know what's happening at Peace Village, from Peace Village, every month we do have the introductory to meditation classes. It begins every month, and that goes for 8 sessions. And so you're welcome to sign up for that. We also have a Feel Well, Heal Well launch, which happen every Sunday from 8 to 8:45 p.m. Journey into Recovery, Wednesdays, January 6th will be the next session. Living at Peace with Time, it's a meditation and talk on the 3rd Sunday of the month. And retreats, the next retreat coming up is a Spanish retreat. And so in January, you'll be able to see other retreats that we'll be offering. And to let you know that we have presence on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and from the website, just click on social media and you'll be able to log into those. So you are welcome to visit peacevillageretreat.org, and you'll be able to find out what is happening there, and you'll be able to register from the website as well. So once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we hope you can continue this experience for the next 2 hours before the night is over. And we wish you all the very, very best for the new year. And don't forget, Peace Village is just one thought away. Make Peace Village part of your home. Keep Peace Village in your heart. And look forward to meet sometime soon again. And a very happy new year. Happy, happy new year to you. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.